Hello, everybody. This is Mrs. Wild from your WCA Biology A class. And today I'm just going to talk to you a bit about the portfolio you are going to be doing on photosynthesis. This is your second portfolio for the semester, and it'll be very similar in some ways that you did to the first portfolio because we're going to be using the scientific method again, which we will be using all the time. So the format will be set up very much the same. So you're going to want to click on the link on the intro page, and that is going to bring up this sheet for you that will explain what we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and just make a copy of this, but if you are not logged into Google Chrome, you may need to go to download and make sure you download this to Word because then it's going to show up on your computer, okay? And you'll be able to then edit it and add stuff and save it and submit it to the Dropbox. So we're using a specific website to get information. I'm going to open that up and it looks like this. It's a virtual lab where you're going to be growing plants in this virtual lab. And the question that you're going to be asking is, what colors of the light spectrum are most important for plant growth? That's the question you're kind of asking yourself. So in this virtual lab, you have the ability to change the color of the lights. We have red, we have blue, we have green, we have violet, we have orange. And you can actually do this experiment on two different sides of this like incubator here. So you can kind of be performing two separate experiments at once. You can kind of test two different colors at one time. So from what you know about the light spectrum, about the energy that's provided in light and stuff like that, what might you think would be the best color source or color of light that kind of is most necessary for plant growth? You know, maybe you feel like red light's most necessary because it's closer to infrared, which is heat, and heat is going to keep the plant warm. Maybe you think that blue light is most necessary or violet light because it has more energy. Maybe you think that green light is necessary because chlorophyll is green. You know, there's just a bunch of different possibilities here, and you have to pick one. So first of all, you're going to notice on this that there are three different types of plants. We're not actually going to be using the three plants separately for this part of the portfolio. You're just going to pick one of these three. So either pick spinach, radish, or lettuce and decide on which plant you're going to use for your data collection. And I would like you to put that here. Okay, choose a plant type. I'm going to use, say we say spinach for this portfolio. Then you need to write an introduction/hypothesis. So an introduction is like where you talk a little bit about background information, and then you also state what you think will happen in the experiment using an if, then, because format. So you're going to want to talk a little bit about photosynthesis here, like what is photosynthesis and kind of what you can reference the question you're investigating. This is the question I'm trying to ask. And then you're also going to state your hypothesis in like, if I use green light, then I think the plants will grow taller because, and you're going to state why you think that color light will cause your plants to grow taller, okay? So we make sure you have a little background information. You're going to make sure you have the hypothesis in an if, then, because statement. This section of your lab write-up should be probably 3 to 4 sentences, okay? Then we're doing data collection. And you've got 3 different plants that you're going to be testing for each color of light. You're going to run the experiment. You're just going to have to, change the color. You plant the plant, change the color, and then you're going to turn the switch to on. It'll automatically grow, and then you use the ruler to measure the height of the plant in centimeters. So you're going to measure to the nearest centimeter. 10, each line here is 1. So we can only measure to the nearest centimeter. And you're going to write that information down. Like the first one is 12. And let's just pretend I'm going to make up some data right now. If we have a 15 and we have a 10, okay? Then you need the average. An average is calculated by adding up the numbers here, 12, 15, and 10. So 15 plus 10 is 25. 25 plus 12 is 37. And then you have to take 37 and divide it by the number of plants, which is 3. So I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to write down the average to the nearest tenths place, and it's 12.3 centimeters here. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going to be doing for each one. Don't use those numbers. I made them up. Use different numbers. So you're going to determine once you're all done with data collection which color of the lights actually gives you more plant growth. Okay. Then you have a section called data analysis. And this might be, it's kind of newish for us here in biology, but the whole point of data analysis is looking at the information that we gathered and making sense of it, right? So we want to say which colors gave us better plant growth, which one gave us like the second. You can provide information. Maybe you have two plants that grew really tall and then one that was super short with the same color, and it's kind of weird, but you may mention that in your data analysis. And you definitely want to pull in some of the measurements that you made from the data table, like for an example for each one, okay? This is just a lot. I mean, you could probably do a sentence here for each color and kind of a conclusion stating which one gave you the most growth, or maybe put them in order of ranking. And I know it might seem a little redundant because our data here isn't super complicated, but this is just kind of getting you practiced in doing this type of writing, because in science, this is pretty standard in terms of how any kind of investigation is shared with other scientists. We kind of use a standard format here. And then finally, a conclusion. And our conclusion is written in this form: claim, evidence, reasoning. Claim is just kind of another way of saying hypothesis. You go back to your original hypothesis. What was it? What type of evidence did you gather that either supported your hypothesis or didn't support your hypothesis? You could have been right, but you may have been wrong. And give me again some example from your data table to either support, or we say refute, which is the opposite of supporting your hypothesis. And then some explanation. That's the reasoning part. Why do you think your answer was correct, or why do you think it wasn't? If it wasn't correct, why do what do you think the correct answer might be, I guess? Maybe you have some more information on that. And again, this should probably be around, 3 sentences or so. So one for the claim, some evidence, and then an explanation of, whether you were right or wrong and why. So that is what you're going to give me for your write-up for the photosynthesis portfolio. We're going to try to continue to use like these standard types of science reports, because this is how science reports are written across the board in all areas and in all age levels as well. As you're going forward into like upper level high school or even in college, we continue to write our lab reports the same way. Okay, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm always here to help. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.